how do you know what I see? I see a circle that says CEO in the middle.
Which means corporation.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm here from the corporation.
I was gonna say that it was Cory Peak, but then I realized that Peak doesn't start with O. So maybe it's Cory
or maybe it's Corico. That's his new company.
Oh, Corico, yeah, dude, that would be an awesome gas station. Have you ever thought about opening up a Sassbologna gas station, Cory?
Yes, I have actually.
Is it called Gas Bologna?
Gas
Bologna. Yes.
There you go.
No, but it is
writes itself.
And that was going to be that I bet that place would have great coffee, especially if Molly was employed there.
Ooh, this is coming together.
Sure it would.
So anyway, folks, ladies and gentlemen out there, and you guys are listening to the Accelerativ Thrust podcast. And you know what I just remembered? We completely forgot to introduce ourselves last week, Erik.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. It was such
How will they ever know?
Or forgive us. Like they're really going to come after us for that one.
Well, they won't be able to find us because they won't know it was us. So.
Oh, that's true. I forgot. We used our doppelgangers last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's what.
Doppeldan.
Eric
Ganger.
Doppeldan and Erik Ganger. Every day, not every day because we don't do this thing every day, but every week we come up with titles that just could totally replace the Accelerativ Thrust, and that's definitely one of them right there. Erik, you're a good title maker.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
I should have said something witty there, but I didn't.
So for those of you who don't know who Cory Peak is, he's a really swell guy. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. He is the CEO of the Sassbologna Corporation, Sassbologna Records. They've put out some wonderful, amazing tapes and 7-inches and CDs and vinyls over the years. And they dabble in a lot of different genres from the, metal, grindcore, punk, hip hop, electronic music. I guess I should just say because it's Sassbologna pretty much is just you, isn't it, Cory?
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's pretty much just Cory, and he does all this stuff by himself, ladies and gentlemen, and he's been doing it since high school. And what year did you start Sassbologna, Cory?
2005, I put out the first record.
Okay, so 2005 was when you put out the first record, but it was kind of a concept before that, right?
Yeah, prior to that, like my cousin Ben and I just did kind of a little recording project on the computer or whatever, doing super short songs, and we did like 2 little demos called Sassbologna. So that's where the name started, and then it just carried over to the label when that started.
Didn't you also do a zine?
I started to kind of do one, but I don't think I ever really got it out. But I definitely was like assembling pages and stuff like that, and kind of making one. But I don't think it ever really materialized to the point that I originally envisioned or whatever. But yeah, that's for sure.
Cool. And he's currently the bass player in Closet Witch, as well as putting out music of his own. Are we allowed to talk about that new track, Cory?
Oh, sure, yeah.
So Cory is going to be putting out a new track called Chances of Rain, which Erik and I both previewed. Now that's coming out on a compilation, correct?
Yeah. Kane Edwards is putting that out and putting it together. I know the deadline for it is pretty soon, so I'm not sure exactly when it's going to come out, but I believe it's to benefit some sort of domestic abuse shelter.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Sorry, I just realized that's what you were talking about. Cool. I didn't realize that's what it was for. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what
there should be some really good stuff on that.
Yeah.
I know that Kane put out the word for people to submit things. So, yeah. Awesome.
I'm sure it'll have some good stuff on it.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, when you got, I will say this: when everybody gets a chance to hear this track, it's pretty good, right, Cory?
Yeah, pretty good.
The reason why I say that, Erik, I didn't tell you this, but I accidentally, when I texted you to see if you listened to the track yet, I accidentally texted Cory first.
Yeah.
And so and then I texted him back. I was like, that was supposed to be for Erik, LOL.
I'm trying to remember what you said.
Well, I said, you should listen.
Oh, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Really different for him.
It's really different for him, which it is. It's because it totally, like, I also texted you previously to that, Cory, and mentioned that I was kind of getting some Hendrix vibes from it in a weird sort of way, just from the guitar.
My text back to Dan, sorry to interrupt, was, that's one of the best fucking songs I've ever heard in my life. So, you know.
Yes, there you go.
It's pretty good, pales in comparison. So.
Just so you know, Erik just totally defeated me there. But anyway, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, okay. So I just wanted to let you know that. Like, you know, one of my many mistakes that I always make. But anyway, it's a great killer track, and it's going to be on this compilation. And he also has released several albums, both under the name The Peaks as well as Cory Peak. Most recently, Trapped Soul, which both. That's the one that we reviewed, wasn't it?
We did review it. Yeah.
Okay, that was the one. And oh man, we both loved that.
Also loved the Love Tape as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, that was
all the kind words in the review as well, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, but also I'll point out on that track that I sent you, that is a sample, that guitar and drum sound. So that I can't take credit for that beautiful guitar tone.
Oh, so were you actually playing that?
Not the guitar no.
No kidding. Oh my
cool.
gosh. Dude, that's amazing. That's amazing, Cory, because I literally thought that was just like guitar and drums. Like, you made me think that was a real band. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, it was. I just took it.
right. No, but I mean, I thought that was like maybe like, and maybe I'm dumb for not knowing what that sample is. Is it a very common sample? Okay.
No, it's a pretty, I don't know, just random track. I don't know how popular it is in the grand scheme of things or anything. I just kind of randomly stumbled upon it. I actually thought it was an older track when I did go to sample it for this compilation, and I was kind of like disappointed at first because I usually try not to make or use too contemporary of samples and too blatant of a context. I try to use like older stuff or whatever. For the most part.
Sure.
Awesome.
Oh, look, sorry, something just went weird with my sound for a sec.
That happens here all the time.
What I was getting at was, anyway, that track is by an artist called Bobby Oroza, I believe, who's like a Finnish, like modern soul artist. And I think that track came out in like 2018 or something that sampled from.
Cool. So that was a fairly new song.
Newer, yeah.
Okay. See, now I just thought that maybe because I'm assuming that the drums are live drums that you're sampling too, right?
Well, both the drum and the guitar sound are part of the same track, but
okay. So yeah, I thought that it might have just been like, because I know that you in Closet Witch, you guys recently did like the collaboration with the Central. I thought maybe it was like something like that you collaborated with them on, or maybe I even thought maybe there was a possibility that it was just like you with like Alex or something in the studio. But that's awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah, I just want to speak that.
Speaking of samples, I was gonna ask you because on Trap Soul and then on the Love Tape as well, it's pretty heavily sample based. And I was wondering, because I understand that you probably just had to keep track and or search out all the different Cory samples where they say Cory and stuff. But with the Love Tape, since it's maybe a little less daunting because it's a little shorter, I believe. Did you like just keep track of things that you heard while you were listening to things or watching things, and then when the time came, you just collected all those samples and then used them? Or I guess I was just wondering about your process.
Yeah,
and you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but
yes, you do.
Like
do
it
not
seems like
do
you
not
must
listen
have...
to Erik. You have to talk about the story.
I'm all about people protecting their creative outlet, their creative character or persona, and their process. If someone said to me, I really don't want to talk about how I make my art, I would probably almost appreciate that answer more than someone actually answering me. So, but I just wondered if you collect up.
I don't mind answering.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I told you he had to do it.
I was aware of several just like shows that I knew there were characters named Cory and whatnot, and then so that in itself, I just really searched out a couple episodes of each show and was able to find a pretty abundant amount of material. And then a couple things I probably just stumbled upon. I knew of like a celebrity named Cory, and then would look up like some, old show they were on or something, or like a old, like an interview type show or something, just to see if I could get a little clip of someone referring to them by their name.
Right.
Yeah.
So the same thing with Molly coming up on the Love Tape then too, probably. Right?
Actually, that was, I don't know if you saw did you just listen to the audio version or did you watch the video version?
Oh, I just listened to the audio.
Okay, there's an accompanying video version that might give you a glimpse of insight into that, but I actually just really quickly chopped in the name Molly from this guy, like talking about like the drug Molly, like some and the voice just like sounds so fluid with the other one that it just fit really well.
That's awesome.
And I think she only gets mentioned on that once by name.
Right. Yeah. I really enjoyed that though. And I got to say that I thought it was really sweet. I thought it was a really sweet thing to do for someone that you care about. And I feel like as artists, and especially in the world we live in, like we're not supposed to be so open and quaint and dear about our feelings. And so I just wanted to say I thought that was really cool to like make something for someone and then let everyone else in on it too, with without holding back at all. It didn't seem like, anyway. It seemed really cool. So
Well, thank you. I'm glad you came across it and listened to it. And, I appreciate your thoughts on it.
That kind of brings up an interesting point, though, Erik. And this, I guess, this could be a question for both of you. Do you guys think that you just mentioned about how, in the world that we kind of grew up in or whatever, that you're not really supposed to express your feelings, but don't you kind of feel like the pendulum is kind of swinging a little bit, that people are now opening up a lot more because a lot of the social justice issues that have been kind of brought to the table a little bit more and being exposed in the not exposed, but just being brought up in the sort of, I guess, mainstream conversation without really, a lack of a better term?
Yeah, go for it, Cory.
I mean, I think things have certainly gotten better in those terms, where it's not as shunned from, especially males, maybe to express their feelings or whatever in such a way. But I don't know, within the artistic realm, that's, I don't know, something that obviously all of us have dealt with, putting out our feelings over the years, and I don't know, so it can be perceived by certain people as a weakness, obviously, and always has been. But yeah, I don't know. I could see it overall culturally being slightly more acceptable.
Well, yeah. I definitely see like. Sorry to interrupt there, Cory. But I definitely do see like. It seems to me like people are just able to like, kind of like come out with their feelings a little bit better now, And I'm not sure, like, I've kind of noticed that in the last few years. Yeah. So I don't know. That just brought up an interesting thought in my mind.
I think the expectations are a little different, not necessarily in the expectations of what people put out, but the expectations of what you're not supposed to put out or how you're supposed to express yourself. I feel like that has just come from, maybe normalizing certain aspects of, I don't know how to say it. I guess just being a human being and being okay with it, or expressing that you don't, like body autonomy and just not necessarily adhering to the gender roles, even as a writer. I think you can take on, all kinds of feelings and explore them. And I do think all that's been a little more acceptable for sure. But, one of my biggest influences ever is Roy Orbison. So when I was a kid and I saw Roy Orbison, I was like, whoa, this guy's like basically crying on TV. And it's somehow kind of cool and somehow emotionally strong. And I think that just kind of personally affected me a lot. And I've always appreciated it from artists. So,
yeah, it's kind of interesting how there's actually we were kind of talking about this, and I've had this kind of conversation with some of my friends. I think a few episodes back where it's kind of interesting how there's sort of this idea of was or whatever that masculinity is kind of where it's at, but then I don't know, I think we mentioned Korn before, and how if you actually listen to the lyrics to a band like that, it's actually very vulnerable. They're actually Jonathan Davis is crying at the end of the album, you know what I mean? And but yet there's still this weird association with that is sort of I'm bringing out my masculinity by listening to that band or whatever, or not just Korn, but just artists in general,
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's tough to know how things affect you, how they're supposed to affect you, and I don't know. I think the further we get away from it being even something that someone would notice, I think that we're doing better. And I could say that for everything. The further we get away from things being definitive or defining what someone is supposed to do, the better off we're going to be. Just make art and be who you are.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely, 100%. Sorry to go off on a tangent there.
Sorry, this isn't an interview with me.
But
here's what I think.
No,
Cory.
Thanks
for joining us.
Oh, geez. So, what other upcoming projects you got coming up here, Cory? I know you're quite busy with the animated music videos. I always see you posting on the social medias. And also I know that Closet Witch has some stuff coming up and whatnot. What other things can we look forward to?
So right now I just finished up a video for Nequiant, the metal band from Chicago. So pretty stoked on that. I'm not sure when that's gonna be released, but now I'm just gonna plunge into working on a Closet Witch video or two, animation wise, and just kind of take my time messing around with that. And I'm also working on a sign for the Wild thing downtown in Muscatine.
Oh, cool.
They're changing their name to Megs.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and she's asked me to design a sign for her and stuff. So that'll be quite interesting, and I look forward to seeing how that turns out.
Cool.
But,
cool.
As far as other projects, not really much. Just that, but I'm sure I'll start plunging into some other random crap soon.
Sure. By the way, those stills that you sent, along with the track, those were sick, man.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited
Freaking
to
awesome.
see that.
Yeah, Mom actually got me a digital drawing pad recently.
Oh.
Or a couple months ago, so that's greatly increased my productivity as far as animation stuff goes. So I'm super stoked on that.
Sweet, yeah. How do you continually, get inspired with your artwork lately, with everything kind of going on, around? I guess there's definitely hope in the world now, but how do you continue to be inspired and everything, Cory?
I've I've just been doing the same stuff for a long time, and it's just always kind of kept me moving forward. So it's really the only thing that I look forward to, aside from, people in my life that I like and whatnot.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know, just working with people who randomly pop up and want me to do something with them, or I don't know, I just always want to keep moving. It just gives me excitement to have something to work on, and I just always enjoy creating art. So I don't know, I don't really have to look really for inspiration so much. It's just like, even if it isn't the most great thing that comes out, I'm still doing something. So.
Right, just naturally comes to you.
I guess, somewhat. I mean, I definitely go through periods for sure where I just don't do anything for a long period of time, but I also tend to go in spurts where I try to do a lot.
Sure.
I try to, come up with a new project that'll keep me busy.
Sure. That's awesome, man. Cory Peak, master of everything.
I really enjoyed seeing all your new, I don't know what you would say, marketing products, or I don't know how to put that. Like, you had a lot of pillows and throws and things I saw on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah, I totally
All
forgot
that
about
was
that.
really
Yes.
cool. And like a giant tapestry.
Yeah.
Is that something you printed or painted, or?
So there's this website, Society 6, that you can just you go through some process. I don't remember what exactly it was, but so people can order products with your stuff on it, and I've just ordered a few of my own products to sell them at the space, and just to have a decoration and whatnot. So
because you guys have space in Muscatine, what's the name of it's like an antique store, right?
Yeah, it's called The Wild Thing currently.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's pretty big, right? Is that the place with the basement?
Yeah, yeah. It's like pretty much 3
God.
floors of just like.
I've only been there once, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I spent probably 2 hours there. It was so cool.
Did you look through the vinyl records while you were there, Eric?
No, I don't really collect much vinyl. All I collect is like 60s and 70s electronic noise and thrash metal.
Like, you don't collect the
the
vinyl,
80s.
you just collect the noise?
Yeah,
Like, when
just
it comes
the
at
noise.
you just grab it?
Yeah.
What do you
No,
do?
so like my record finding in the wild is pretty limited. Like, it
Sure.
just doesn't happen very often. But
Sure.
no, I was looking at just other antiques, and I think they had clothes even in one of the rooms. It was a really nice place.
They got all kinds of stuff. There's this weirdo who has a bunch of like crazy art. Don't know his name, but he also has he's selling cassette tapes.
Oh.
You know who that? Either of you guys know who that might be?
You mean there's a rival to Sassbo?
Wait, hold on. Did you just say Sassbo?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Sassbo. Maybe that's the rival. Sassbo.
Yeah.
Sassbo.
I like that. That sounds kind of mean. Like, oh, you're not gonna mess with Sassbo, are you? Anyway.
Sounds like a Popeye episode.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Trash ball.
Yes, Sassbo. You're like smoking a pipe. Putting like spinach. I've been actually watching like sorry, I'm gonna go off on a tangent, but again, but I've actually been watching those old like cartoons like super late at night because I have insomnia, apparently, and there's something interesting about watching like Looney Tunes late at night, as opposed to like during the day or like growing up when you were a kid. That's really different. At least to me, anyway.
When you're like up, deprived of sleep.
Yeah, maybe that has something to do with it. Like things start popping out of the screen and whatnot. It's a totally different experience.
Yeah. Sleep depth will change things.
Definitely. No, but I just wanted to say that I actually, you mentioned Popeye, and it just made me think of that. So.
That show's pretty crazy sometimes.
Popeye?
You know? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All those old cartoons are crazy, man. Like, it always makes me laugh when they say things like, talk about how violent and satanic everything is today, but it's like, look at like Looney Tunes Like any episode, somebody's dying or falling off a cliff all the time. Just like it's crazy. Or somebody's getting shot with a gun all the time.
Yeah. Satan's been running with us for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not just a new concept, people. Anyway.
That's true. Satan's pretty old.
He's getting up there in age.
He's not looking so great.
No, that's true. It's really starting to kind of worry me. But anyway. Oh, this is an interview, isn't it?
Okay, we can't just talk about Popeye for the entire time. I mean, unless Cory wants to. It's interview.
Do whatever you want.
Oh,
Your
okay.
guest.
He gave us permission, Erik.
I'll leave it up to you guys.
Okay. Hey, Cory.
Popeye heads.
Oh, dude. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah. Heads, Popeye, tails, Looney Tunes. Those are your two choices. So, Cory, you've listened to, some of this podcast, right?
Yeah. A little bit. Not as much as I would have liked to. I listened to the Sean Reed episode. I listened to the one where you reviewed the Brooke Strauss record, the one where you reviewed my record.
Okay. So you know that we talk a lot about records.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
And I've had this conversation with you 100 times before, but we all know that it changes. And usually I ask, like, hey, what are some records that have influenced you over the years, or top 3 favorite records? And I just kind of thought those are kind of really difficult questions to answer. So I don't know. I was just thinking, what are some records that, or artists, you don't even have to list records, just what's some stuff you're into right now?
Oh, right now. Let's see. I've been watching Batman the Animated Series quite a bit.
Oh, the old one from the 90s?
Yeah.
That is one of the best animated series ever. Have you ever watched that, Erik?
Nope. I guess I should, huh?
Wow. So last week it was Wayne's World. This week it's Batman the Animated Series.
You'd be surprised. I don't like things. I mean...
Hello? Can you hear me?
Ooh, what? Me?
Yeah, you guys just cut out there. Sorry.
Oh.
At least on my end, anyway. Did it cut out for you guys?
I don't know. I was talking. So I didn't cut out from myself.
Okay, you didn't cut out. Did you hear it cut out at all, Cory? Or...
I think I could hear you guys the whole time.
Okay, so it was just me. So
just
clearly this is the universe saying, shut up, Dan. Okay, go on, Erik. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I don't need to go on. Go on, okay. Cory. We're just passing it now.
You're passing the torch.
All right, so sadly, I haven't really been listening to a lot of music or records. I haven't really listened to records themselves for some time, sadly.
Sure.
But,
okay, well, what are some other things then that you're into? Any form of media, whether it's books, TV, whatever.
I've seen a couple good movies recently. Embrace of the Serpent was pretty good. That was like a 2015 black and white movie. I think like a Brazilian movie, possibly.
Never heard of that one.
Shoot. I don't know, man. Just watching stupid junk TV shows and like walking around outside a lot and working on animation.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And
I see a lot of your posts about being outside. That's awesome. A lot of vegetation and everything.
Yeah, it's very nice to go outside.
Where do you go in Muscatine? Do you go on trails or do you?
I go to walk quite a lot.
Oh, cool.
And then like just more so recently, just like wandering off trail in just any random spot, just like lurking through the woods slowly and just checking out everything that's going on.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wildcat Den's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Wildcat Den is like, honestly, like it feels like it's like the best park ever. Although I know there's better parks in the country, but when you're there, it's just like, it doesn't feel like there's any place better than that,
Yeah. Yeah, I just discovered like huge areas of it within the last couple of years that I didn't know existed, and I've been going there just for like years,
Mm-hmm. Isn't it amazing like just, I mean, like Muscatine, I mean, and this is true of like any small town, but we grow up in these small areas where you think that there's nothing good in the town, like for the whole like first, I don't know, 20 years or whatever of your life, and then you go back and you discover there's all these amazing things you didn't even know about in that town.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I'm making it sound a lot more amazing than it actually is, but there are those moments, you know what I mean, where you're like, I had no idea this was here, and this has been here the whole time.
Yeah.
New areas of Wildcat Den, like I'm sure I haven't even come close to like exploring that entire area, I'm sure myself.
Yeah, I'm sure there are just dozens of parks just in, right around the area that I've never heard of, or, that are just like, just awesome to walk around, but you just don't really know unless you take the time to really seek them out and just go out and check it out.
Yeah, it's stuff like that just makes you realize that it's not always bad being in a small town, like there's always something that can make it better, and just like being able to go out in a place like a park and just breathe. Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
Especially on a day like today.
Pretty nice day.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Cory, do you hunt mushrooms as well?
I do a bit.
Okay.
More so out of just like curiosity, but yeah. I'm aware of a few edible varieties, and I'm always on the lookout for those. But yeah, I just
noticed a lot of photos that you take of mushrooms, so I didn't know if they were edible or if you just like notice them and shoot a picture. So
yeah, I'm just like fascinated by them, and they're always changing. Yeah. And I like to see if I can identify them later in a book or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah,
mainly. Sorry. Oh, also speaking of mushrooms, Dan.
Yes.
The Siphonophore, the title of that one album that I did.
Oh yeah. Yes.
That's actually a deep sea creature, a Siphonophore.
Oh really?
Yeah, you should check those out sometime on Google.
You know what? I think I might have actually, because I think you already. I think you told me this when it first dropped. Because that's like a year old, right, or something like that.
Roughly.
Okay, and I think I actually might have checked them out. But I'm definitely gonna Google them again. I love deep sea creatures.
Cool. I remember you mentioning like you thought it was a mushroom term.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first.
But yeah, very interesting.
And the only reason why was exactly what Erik said. I saw that you and Molly were going out and picking mushrooms a lot, or at least it appeared that way.
Yeah. So
that's kind of what I figured. Do you ever get like scared, like if you, because I remember you saw like I remember you picking one like last year and posted it on Facebook, and you were sort of like, I'm not sure if it's, if this is okay to eat, because it looked a lot like another like kind or whatever. Yeah. But I think you took the chance on it anyway, and it ended up being delicious, I think you said. Or something like that. You ever get like kind of worried when you pick like mushrooms, like I'm not really sure, because I know that there's like some supposedly some really deadly ones out there.
Yeah, not too much, just because I make pretty sure that I know what I'm eating before I eat it, and I don't just eat a bunch of really random ones. I stick to a couple varieties that are like very easily identifiable. So
go out and just eat some of those magic berries.
What's that?
Go out and eat some of those magic berries.
Yeah.
Hey, Cory, if you don't mind, I might ask you about some music.
No, feel free.
Or, I mean, we can keep talking about mushrooms. It's cool.
Yeah, totally.
No, I was just going to ask you, because I recently have been working on things a little more, like, just on my own without a band. And I was just wondering, personally, because the last couple records of yours, I would assume that you did just yourself, right? Just by yourself.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that as much as playing with a band, or do you think it feels limiting, or do you think do you feel more like free because you don't have to really clear anything with everyone. I was just wondering if, compared to working with a band, how does working alone feel to you?
So it's definitely, two different worlds, big time. I do enjoy, like, for what I do, like a lot of the sample-based stuff and all that. I do definitely enjoy doing my own thing because I very, like, fly by the seat of my pants and just do whatever I want. And a lot of things I don't put a lot of thought or planning or care into or whatever, I'm not too precise about anything. So it's good to not have anyone else, like, clashing with that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, and I think that's kind of why I started doing stuff on my own a long time ago, is just, like, lack of enough people that you could really get together with and, rely on and do something consistent or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of magic and power in playing with people and having a live band and things like that. So definitely, both are certainly enjoyable to me. But when I make music by myself, I'm not, like, wishing in any way, like, oh man, I really wish I had, like, a team of people to do this with. Mm-hmm. And it's a majorly, like, self-expressive kind of thing when I do it too. So it gets weird a lot of the times when you involve others with that kind of thing, depending on how much of a team effort it is or whatever,
For sure, it's hard to invite people literally into your head. So yeah. Well, I guess figuratively into your head. Right?
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
I'm a little liberal with the use of literally. Sorry, y'all.
I can totally relate with that answer, like, Cory. I mean, that's probably exactly how I would feel, about doing, like, solo work versus a full band. Yeah. That was a great question, by the way, Erik.
Oh, thanks. I was just wondering because I felt like when I was working and when I do work on stuff here, it's cool because I have absolute freedom, but also it's like it's hard to work in a vacuum too. Like, you might think like, oh, this idea kind of sucks, but it's awesome, but I actually don't know if it's good, and so I think you have to almost give up on that idea of, are other people going to like this, Yeah. And so I just thought maybe Cory felt that way too. So I like working with people too. And it's really fun to bounce ideas off of people. And I think it always goes further. And honestly, if you're working with people where it doesn't go further because you're working together, you probably don't need them. But anyway, I just think that definitely both have their pros and cons for sure. So
yeah.
Do you have any new releases coming out on Sassbologna that you're not, I guess, involved with musically, like outside of Closet Witch or your solo releases?
We're gonna do a reprint of the d.i.y tape, so another 100 copies of that.
Oh, sick!
But other than that, not really. At the moment, just haven't really been thinking about that too much, and nothing's really come up, so just kind of laying dormant at the moment.
Well, and I'm sure, like, with that. Oh, sorry. Go on, Cory.
Say aside from that repress.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, I'm sure, like everyone else who, does art, COVID probably had quite an effect on the decisions with Sassbologna, I assume.
Not really, to be honest. That's kind of just been. I don't know, it was started so long ago, and I've kind of probably had my heyday of passionate drive towards that project.
Gotcha.
I probably still have little sparks of activity, but I mean, I'm not in any way, like, trying to drive that thing I mean, it's just not something I'm really focused on or have the drive
Sure.
Or the money to do, frankly. I'd rather spend my money on other things that I'm interested in than trying to put out music at this time, frankly.
Yeah, totally understandable there. You've been doing Sassbologna for so long, and I know that you were definitely at one time a lot more prolific than you are now, for sure.
I just don't have the the drive really to like sell a product. And frank, like it's just I don't, it's difficult for me to try to sell like 100 tapes of someone else's band when I don't even really have the desire to like push my own music that hard or
Sure.
anything. What I mean?
Do you think that has anything to do at all, just out of curiosity, with I know obviously Sassbologna wasn't like a big part of the quote unquote music industry, but just like the way that music is sort of being consumed now versus when you started? And because it's amazing when you, even like 2005, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but in 2005, I mean, CDs were still kind of considered, if I remember correctly, they were still kind of considered the main musical format that people bought and listened to. You know what I mean? Like, is there any of that sort of maybe like affected your drive at all, or do you think that it was just kind of more of a personal sort of situation?
Probably personal, because I mean there are plenty of booming labels, that are, sell plenty of tapes and records these days, like on a regular basis. So, and even DIY small labels and whatnot.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Really.
Cool.
Yeah, you've never really been too concerned about like, with that kind of stuff, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I always kind of with Sassbologna too. It was just I put out whatever I really liked. So I didn't really, maybe when I was young, I had like high hopes of everyone like loving it too and buying all these copies. But over time, I realized that's just not really how it works. And
Sure.
it's kind of, yeah, I've always just consistently done that, put out what I like or whatever, maybe a friend approached me about or something. So it just never was that type of thing where I was trying to move units or whatever. So it's just at a point where it's like not cost effective, and I'm not really upset about that or anything. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, I think it's pretty safe to say that like all three of us being involved in sort of this, regional music scene at different times in different ways and whatnot, none of us were really doing music for like exposure or money.
Yeah, for sure.
If we were, we failed. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't fail.
No, we succeeded, just not in the way that David Geffen would want us to.
Yeah, well. Wait, who's David Geffen? No, I'm just kidding. I am joking that time.
I think.
Cory, I was going to ask you about JWLW. The last episode came out a little while ago. How often do you put one of those out?
So I just started it last year, and then I just kind of released them whenever I finished them.
Mm-hmm.
This year I was going to try to do like maybe one every 4 months, which that probably won't happen in April, but I might. That might be one of the next random projects that I pick up. I've been collecting tracks, but I haven't been working on anything else. So, maybe that might come out in the next couple of months, hopefully, and I'll stick to some sort of regular schedule with that. But we'll see. It'll be several scattered throughout the year, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a really enjoyable thing. I really like how it's put together.
Thank you.
And it's really smart too to put it together in a way where you're doing you're responding to yourself. I think that's really would probably be really fun to work on. And I wonder if you don't mind, again, me asking a process question, do you sort of have an idea of what you're going to say and how you're going to respond when you respond, or do you kind of let it naturally happen? I guess I'm asking if you have a script. And
not real. No, I have like maybe a few. Like I'll listen to the tracks and maybe have a general idea of what I might say about them, and I try to include information about them and things like that. So there's some ground I try to cover or whatever. But
right.
That's like one of those things I would like to put more time into in the future, and I'm sure it would turn out a bit more clever. But as stated earlier, I kind of just tend to throw things together and put them out.
Well, I mean, you have to think about.
My cat is scratching the door, so I'm just.
Oh.
Hey, Ferdy.
But anyway, so yeah, I don't do usually for them. I will sit down with the mic and just like start talking. I'll play the track and then I'll talk about it. And if it goes horribly, I'll do it again. But that's pretty much the gist of it. I'll just like talk through it once.
Gotcha.
Right. with the other dude that responds. I don't know if you'll notice the other one hasn't spoke at all yet, just uses the sampler, but the one that does respond barely has said anything. So I would like to spend more time in the future and maybe come up with some more dialogue, but yeah, I spend so much time with the animation and other stuff, and I'm so scatterbrained that I'm just like, okay, throw it together, here we go, okay, it's done.
Well, and you also have to ride that line between how much work you're going to put into it versus how much enjoyment you have working on it.
Yeah.
Like, you may not enjoy it as much if you break it down and work out every little kink and really overwork the whole thing. You know, it may not be enjoyable to work on, and it weirdly might not be enjoyable to listen to or watch. You never know. Yeah. Like, if something's working, you know, just, I don't know. I think it's, for me personally, it's really easy for me to overwork things until I'm like, I don't even like this anymore. Like, is anyone else going to like this? You know, it's kind of better to just go for it and let it be a little more raw and still have some feeling in it. You know, that's my take anyway.
Cool, thank you. Well, maybe I'll take that advice and just need to produce it the way it is.
Yeah, because, I love it the way it is.
Because if it goes horribly on this podcast, we don't correct it. We just put it out. Just kidding. It never goes horrible on this podcast.
Oops.
Oops.
I think it might have just gone horrible.
Think I did a horrible thing. Oh, jeez. The, yeah, sometimes a joke works. Sometimes it doesn't. Other times it just, you fall flat on your face. Oof. Boy, that was a tough one. Oh, man. Anyway, so I killed that conversation. Sorry, guys. So anything else that, you know, you want to talk about, or anything, Eric or Cory, or?
Let me think. Cory should go ahead while I think.
Can't say that there's anything pressing that I want to get off my mind.
I just now looked down at my notes, and I actually remembered something that I did want to talk with you about. So what, just out of curiosity, because, you know, Sassbologna, of course, has been, you know, pretty instrumental in putting out a lot of hip hop and things like that. And of course, you're into sample-based music and creating it and whatnot. Would you say that you were into, like, just out of curiosity, were you into like rap music before punk and metal and hardcore DIY type stuff?
Yes, I would say that.
Okay.
I'd say first I probably, well, okay, so it wouldn't be hardcore punk really, but I heard, like, you know, alternative and like maybe radio-esque metal maybe before or at the same time as a lot of rap. So it was probably honestly a pretty similar time that I heard and got into, well, both of those, but then punk and hardcore came a little bit later.
Cool. The reason why I was asking you that actually is because I know that we've had conversations about, like, you know, the rap we're into, you know, like I have that conversation with a lot of people, and Erik too, actually. We've talked a little bit about that, but I don't think I've ever asked you that, and I always kind of assumed that was the case. I don't know why, but thanks for confirming that.
Yeah.
And then that probably plays a part in why you decided to eventually put out some hip hop, like, on the label, right?
Probably, yeah. I think, like, ever since I kind of probably first heard hip hop, I've always just kind of had a thing for it and been into it, so it just never left. And then when I got into, like, more DIY stuff, it was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put out, like, whatever. So, like, I'm not just into, like, DIY punk sound, you know. Definitely,
sure.
If people are doing independent hip hop, like, definitely into putting that out as well.
It's amazing how much there is out there too, you know.
Yeah.
Once you start actually, like, looking.
It's really thriving.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good. I was introduced to a lot of really good producers / beat makers and stuff that I still like follow this today through like back in MySpace days and whatnot.
Oh yeah, MySpace was definitely like that was just a haven for. I mean, I remember MySpace. It just seemed so artist friendly at the time, you know.
Yeah, but my love for hip hop goes prior to that.
Yeah, way before that. But I'm just saying, like MySpace, it was a great vehicle to just connect with.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Not in relation to that. I mean, for my comment to be, but yeah, for sure.
Sure.
So Cory, I was wondering. I'm sorry. I was just wondering because I assumed when I listened to at least the last couple things you put out that the influence there was a little more like from cut up stuff, like Negative Land or something like that. So would you say that how you assemble those things, is it a little more influenced by hip hop than it would be like traditional, that's a funny term, but traditional kind of experimental cut up collage sound?
Yeah, it's definitely inspired by both.
Oh, okay.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know, many.
Oh, I don't think I heard what you said. Sorry.
No, yeah, you cut out again, I think.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's not your fault.
I'd say as far as like production goes, it's like highly inspired by like Madlib, Doom, stuff like that. But yeah, ever since I was like aware of like Plunderphonics and different, like I'm definitely into different any type of sample driven genre. I have like a fascination with.
Nice.
So it's certainly inspired by all that different kind of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, that definitely hear that for sure. All right, so anyway, I think we're about reaching the hour-long mark here. So I think we're probably going to wrap it up here because we're trying to make this podcast somewhere between like the hour to an hour and 15-minute mark. But we always go off on these tangents, mostly because of me.
Yeah, Cory, would you like to go off on a tangent?
Yeah, would you like? Yeah, Cory, that's
anything you want. Let's go.
Start rambling about something.
My interest in tangents, which is 0.
Your interest in tangents is 0.
Yes.
You can go off about that.
Yeah, there you go. Talk about tangents that you don't want to go off on.
Oh yeah.
Which would be all of them. But anyway, so folks, that was Cory Peak. Did you have anything else that you wanted to talk to Cory about, Erik, before we cut this off?
I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah. Cory, do you have any famous last words?
No, I don't believe so, but just thanks for continuing to be interested in the stuff I do and having kind things to say about it and having my awkward ass on your podcast.
Thanks for giving us another chance.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah, that's right. For those of you who don't know, which is all of you, except us 3, Cory technically was the first guest on our show. Sorry, Sean, we're gonna have to bump you to set. No, just kidding. Yeah. We attempted to do a show, and then that was before I really figured out a lot of things, like for example, how to record 3 people. What's that?
Don't jinx it.
That's true. But anyway, so Cory is now our second guest, and I think this actually went really smoothly. Thank you very much, Cory.
Yeah, well, my pleasure. It's always nice to talk to you guys. I definitely admire what both of you do musically, and what you do with the podcast. It's awesome. So doing it.
Well, we definitely admire what you do as well, and thank you.
Cannot wait to see Closet Witch again.
So. Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. You got any? Is there I'm assuming you probably don't really have any shows or anything like that. I don't know. I keep kind of hearing that shows are happening again and whatnot. Have you heard anything on that front, Cory?
I mean, I've seen a few random things being booked here and there, but I don't know. We're pretty much just like on hold until like things really start to happen again. We
Right.
don't jump the gun or anything, and we're just we're not really even ready to play yet anyway. So
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would find it really difficult to want to jump right back into that because it's just, I just think that, it would be just raining uncertainty, like you just never know, like at this point. So I think that's smart.
yeah, sure.
It's crazy, but it's unfortunate because I'm getting pretty impatient. I would like to go see a couple of shows, but
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
You go see Cory Taylor at the Rust Belt this fall in Rock Island.
Who?
Cory Taylor from Slipknot.
Oh, really? He's playing at the festival.
It's called the MFCT tour. Motherfucking Cory Taylor.
That's what it's called. Motherfucking Cory Taylor. Holy shit.
I think so.
So are you officially gonna be motherfucking Cory Peak?
Cory Peak.
I'll just say I'm working on Trapped Soul Part 2.
Nice.
Those are gonna be MFCP. Dude,
we need some Iowa beef, man. For real.
Definitely. Yeah. The two Corys. But if you're thinking
Cory,
Philbin and Haynes,
the Corey's beef.
the Corys beat.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, we're going to make that happen, Cory. I'm sorry. It's
All right.
It's out of your hands.
he sounds so like enthusiastic. Yeah.
You can get away with more in this beef. I'm sure the other motherfucking Cory has way more priors than you, so.
You think he's going to play all of his hits?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
I think it would be really awesome if you did.
This beef isn't taken off very well.
I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.
Cory, for real though.
Wants no part of it.
Yeah, he's just
Sorry,
like,
I started shit, and then I just failed on it.
He's just like, grill it up and eat it. Who was it that there was that line from that movie Drumline?
I don't know it.
Orlando Jones says that to the two. Nick Cannon is one of the guys, and he's like rivaling like his drum teacher, and he's like the main dude, Orlando Jones. He's like, if you two got beef, you better grill it up and eat it.
Dang.
And he's like he's talking to his band students about grilling up and eating beef.
We're gonna have to keep that in mind when this thing gets a little out of hand.
Yeah, exactly. Orlando Jones said it. You guys know who Orlando Jones is, right?
Oh yeah, Mad TV, right? Wasn't he in Mad TV?
Yeah, he was on Mad TV, and he also, like, what I remember him from was the "Make 7-Up Yours" commercials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those were always funny. I always thought they were great. But then I looked him up on YouTube, and I realized they really weren't. Like, there was something about me being the age that I was that found it funny.
Hey, do you guys remember Zatarans having a commercial that went Zatarans?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
That was
hell
the best.
yeah.
I can't find that shit anywhere.
Dude.
Did you think you're having a Mandela effect deal?
Yeah.
Dude, that's one thing I do find myself doing a lot of, though, is like watching these compilations of like old like 80s. There's actually like on YouTube, they actually have like the first like I think like 8 hours or something of MTV. Like
oh, yeah.
you know, like starting with like Video Killed the Radio Star, and then I don't remember what the second video was on MTV.
No,
No one does.
I had it memorized at
Second
one point.
place is first loser. That's what they say.
It's not number one.
There's no T or M in MTV.
You don't
team.
go
There's no MTV in team. That's what I'm trying to say.
There's no MTV in team. You know, I guess that it doesn't even stand for music television anymore, like literally.
Oh.
Like, from what I understand, it's called MTV, and like they no longer want you to refer to it as music television.
It stands for motherfucking TV.
Motherfucking TV, dude. So it's like MFTV now.
Yep.
Gotcha.
All
Boy.
Corey Taylor all the time.
All Cory Taylor. But you gotta say it in that voice, Erik. All Cory Taylor, all the time.
Yeah. You did it just fine. I don't need to do it. Sounded
Well,
perfect.
Cory, you didn't have to go off on a tangent because clearly we did. So, thank you for giving us the inspiration, Cory. So anyway, folks, if you're not about ready to throw your device that you're listening to through the window now, thank you for tuning in. You guys are all awesome. Cory, thank you very much for being an awesome guest.
My pleasure.
You're an awesome music podcast guest. Yeah, man, you can find us on the social medias. Let's see, it's still Dan_the_ruler, the Instagram and then at Old Man Erie. And then it's just, for you, it's just simply at Cory Peak, isn't it, Cory?
Yep.
Okay, and that's on Instagram, and you can find us all on Facebook. And also, Accelerativ Thrust officially has Facebook and Instagram pages. Also, Cory, I mean, he's got all kinds of stuff all over the information superhighway.
Yeah.
You guys remember when it was called that?
Wait, it's not?
Is it still called that?
That's how I refer to it almost all the time.
The information superhighway. You don't just refer to it as the.
Oh man, the stinking information superhighway's out again. Gotta go check the router. That's what I say.
So you call the place, they're like, yeah, my information superhighway went out.
Exactly.
Start like getting all angry and everything. But anyway, Cory, he's got all kinds of stuff on Bandcamp. Cory, like Cory Peak. Yes.
Peak.
Yep, Sassbologna and the Peaks. And yeah, just look for all that stuff. It's all great stuff. And Closet Witch. Look at Closet Witch because you won't regret it if you do. So anyway, peace out.
Peace.
You guys all have a good week. And okay, I'm going to stop recording now.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See ya.